I was reading a statistic the other day that said that most self-published authors don't make more than $1,000 a year, right? And I'm happy to announce that I've definitely crossed that milestone, and it's been almost a year since I started self-publishing in earnest. And in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you the lessons I've learned, the highs, the lows, and also motivate you, encourage you to go ahead and self-publish your books as well. I'm Gertrude Nontra, and I haven't posted on this channel in about 8 months. Now, if you've watched some of the videos I did last year in 2022, I did talk about the fact that I had shifted my focus from doing this channel and was focused on running something called the Bold PhD, which is going really well. We recently crossed 5,000 subscribers and all that good jazz. But I noticed that so many of you are still watching this channel. So many of you are still finding this channel, watching the videos, leaving me comments. And so in a video I had posted in November of 2022, I had mentioned that I was talking about my self-publishing journey, and I mentioned that I would give regular updates. Well, I noticed that I haven't been giving regular updates, and so today I decided to do this video to give you an update of my self-publishing journey over the last year. And so for context, I started self-publishing sweet Christian romance fiction under a pen name in 2022, to be specific, August of 2022. August 1st of this year, it would be a full year since I started self-publishing my romance. Okay, now last year I was successful at self-publishing 3 books, and this year so far I have written and self-published 2 more books, and I'm writing another book right now. Now, if you watched the previous video I had posted around self-publishing, maybe you're thinking, wow, how do you write these books so fast? Are you sure these books are good quality? I want to say that they're great quality. The very first book I published in August of 2022 right now has over 100 reviews. About 80% of those are 4 and 5-star reviews. The second one has, I think, 57 or 58 reviews. The other one, the third one, is approaching 50 reviews. So like, people are reading these books and enjoying them, and I have really high ratings on these books. I think on average my books average around 4.5, 4.6 when it comes to ratings out of 5 stars. So I'm really grateful for that. I want to talk about the highs of self-publishing. Definitely when you finish writing that book and you go through editing and all that process, and then you put the finished product out, it's so nice when I order my author copies of my books and they come in the mail. It's just so nice to be holding something you created. And I thought this was just me, but I was also listening to a podcast by Joanna Penn, who is, she's been self-publishing for many years, and she has a podcast, a very long running podcast, and she talks about the fact that yes, she still gets that high of like holding her book, right? And so being able to hold that book, even being able to see the book on my Kindle, on my iPad when I finally publish it on Amazon, and I'm selling primarily on Amazon right now, is amazing, right? And the fact that this book is not just one thing, this book can be turned into multiple assets. So personally, I currently have my book in ebook format and paperback format, but one of my goals, God willing, for 2024 is to start turning my books into audiobooks. That's a whole different income stream. And apart from audiobooks, you can also do translations, and apart from translations, you can turn your book into merchandise. This is stuff I'm learning right now. And so there's so many ways to monetize even your fiction that is like amazing and mind-blowing right now, and I'm so grateful. Currently though, I'm just focused on, creating that backlist, start getting people interested in the books that I'm writing. I'd say another high from writing these books is just the creative outlets it provides me with. And so there's, over the years, right, from my childhood up until now, I've seen many stories, I've seen, many situations and circumstances. I've lived through some of those circumstances that I write about. And I always write what I'm writing from a place of, if I had a sister or a friend that was going through this life situation, and they were also falling in love, what would I tell them? You know, so that's the place I write from. And because of that, I've had people tell me that they felt like I was speaking to them, or they felt like they read the book and they were really excited and they're going to set the book down and read it again at another point in their life. There were people that said I encouraged them to go back and read some scriptures in the Bible. Like, it's been so exciting to get feedback from my readers. And the fact that, like, right now I have readers is pretty exciting. So on Amazon, if you go to author.amazon.com, that's the Author Central tool that Amazon has. And if you plan on self-publishing, I highly recommend that you go and create your Amazon Author Central. And in there, they tell you how many people are actually following you. So this wasn't something that you could know just a few years ago. You never knew about this. But I noticed that just over the last year, I've gathered over 100 readers, 100 people who are following me, who are telling Amazon, oh, we're so excited about this person's books. We want to follow her so that every time she puts a book out, we get a notification. I think that's amazing. Apart from that, I've grown my email list of readers to almost 500 readers. So 500 people are on my email list, and I email them about 3-4 times a month about my books, about things I'm doing, promos I'm a part of. And it's super exciting to be building this. Really, what I'm seeing this as is an author business from scratch. And so if you are thinking about self-publishing your own books, I find that it's really, really important to approach it with a business mindset. It's really important to have a business plan. It's really important to think about, where am I going to promote? I've talked about this before. Let me talk about it again. A lot of aspiring authors I meet, right? When people hear that I'm an author, I write a book, people will like, oh yeah, maybe one day when I have time, I want to write a book and put it out there so that people know about my story and stuff like that. And it's fine. But the reality is that nobody's out there waiting to read your story unless you're a really big celebrity. That's just the reality of it. Nobody's out there waiting to read my story. Nobody's out there waiting to hear my life story per se, but they are out here to read interesting stories. They're out here to, be entertained. And fiction really is entertainment. They're out here to be entertained. So you have to come into it with, what do I want to write? Who do I want to entertain? And how can this be a viable business? Because let me tell you something. Writing books is not for the faint of heart. And I'm saying that as somebody, yes, I've been quite prolific these past 2 years, and I'm really, really grateful for that. But it takes work, right? And so just doing it for the fun of it, you could. But if you really, this channel I made because I want to show people how to thrive or make money as a creative entrepreneur. So if you want to do that, then you should have a business plan going into it. You have some kind of business mind going into it as to how you're going to produce your books, where you're going to sell your books, which social media accounts you're going to create to promote your books, and so on and so forth. It's an ongoing process, but at least when you come into it with that mindset, you can definitely hit the ground running. I had an author friend tell me recently, we were just chatting, and she was like, it's amazing how you just started and things have really, things are blown up. It's not blown up in like a huge sense, but for a beginner, most of the time it takes a while for people to even get reviews on their books. It takes a while for people to even start seeing actual money, right? And so when she made that comment, I was happy that she had made that comment, because what it validated for me was the fact that it was a good thing that when I started my author business, when I started writing fiction, I approached it from a business mindset. And I'm continually learning and finding ways to improve the experience for my readers. I've also had a handful of people send me fan mail. It's not a lot. I think it's been like 3 or 4 people really at this point. It's not many, but I'm recording this for the future, because I know in the future when it gets a lot more than 3 or 4 people, I'll come back to this video and say, wow, back then I was super stoked about that. Anyway, it was just really, like I was saying, there are people that, well, in the reviews, people have left really nice comments, but also I've had people who've gone out of their way to actually send me emails, to leave a comment about a book I wrote. And that just makes me happy. Somebody wrote to me and she said, when I go out into my work day, and I come back and I'm stressed and I'm tired, I pick up one of your books and I know I can get lost in that and relax. That felt so good for somebody to say. It felt so good for somebody to say. So it's the little things like that. I think, the money is nice. It comes in, it's nice. And I'm still growing it, by the way. Okay, I'm not a millionaire yet. But it's really nice to get messages like that. So I'm really, really grateful for that as well. There are not so many lows I've been on this journey, but I remember one day, just when I had, I think 2 or 3 months into self-publishing, somebody bought like 3 of my books and then returned all of them. And so my account was like, they took the money out, so it was negative, the amount. So that day, all the money I was making was going to, like, I had to make that money back because that person had returned the book. So my account was actually negative that day, and that was kind of sad for me. And then I heard about sort of a scam that people were playing, where people will sometimes buy books on Amazon. They basically use Amazon as a library where they'll buy the book, they'll read the book, then they'll return the book, right, within a certain amount of time to avoid paying for books. And if you're somebody that does that, or somebody that does that, please, I know, like, there are torrent websites out there that actually steal people's courses, steal people's books, steal people's intellectual property, and then turn around and sell it for a profit. If you're into that, please stop. It's hurting it's not an innocent crime. I've even heard people say, oh, it doesn't hurt anybody. I just want to watch it. I don't have the money to pay for it. How would you feel if you created something and then somebody took that, ripped it off as their own, and then sold it? How would you feel about that? Would you feel good about it? If you wouldn't, then don't do it. And also, don't scam systems just to benefit you. I don't know how we can live in this world, and sometimes there are people that just live to scam others. I don't know. It's just, anyway. So yeah, that hurt. It was 3 books, so in the grand scheme of things, it does not matter, but it kind of hurts, right? It did kind of hurt. So anyway, that was a low. I think another low is, it's not every day as an author that I make sales. A lot of days sales will come in and it's exciting, and then there are going to be those days where sales do not come in, and you're like, okay, what's happening? Why aren't people buying my book today? And then the very next day it's up again. So it's an ongoing yo-yo experience. Okay, do you know a yo-yo? I hope you know a yo-yo. But it's up and down, right? And so if you end up going into self-publishing, don't give up because of that, because it's like that. Okay, it's just like that. And so yes, that has been my experience. At the time of this recording, like I said, I self-published 3 books last year. I've added 2 books this year, so that's about 5 books. I had a book that I wrote in 2018, and I didn't take it seriously, but it's part of that pen name, and I've recently upgraded it, rewritten it, and added it to my backlist. And so currently I have 6 self-published fiction books, writing the 7th. Pretty excited. Another thing is, I've also been working on my Gertrude Nontra books. So I also self-publish under my real name. I've written Winner Freelance Writing, which some of you have bought. I've written Content That Sizzles and Sells. I've written a few other books, and I'm currently writing a book specifically for PhDs and academics and careers. And I'm super excited about that. And so that's something I'm also growing. I'm also learning different ways of selling my books. Most of the time when people are talking about self-publishing, it really focuses on Amazon. And Amazon, rightly so, because Amazon, I think, has about 70% share of the ebook market. That means like on all of the internet, when ebooks are sold, Amazon sells 70% of them, right? So it would be foolish for me not to put my books there. But I'm also beginning to diversify. I don't think it's a good idea to put all your eggs in one basket. So I'm beginning to diversify. I'm beginning to also think about selling books direct. And so that means I'm going to use a tool like either Samcart or Shopify to start selling books where the money comes directly to me, doesn't go through a third party before I get it. There's a lot of benefit to that. As I go through that experience, I can share some of that with you. But yes, this has been my self-publishing experience over the last year. Let me know in the comments below what you would like to learn. If there's anything else, any questions you have about this experience that I've been on or anything like that, please ask them in the comments below.